What if I told you that the only thing standing between where you are now and the life you dream of is your ability to command yourself? Not motivate, not inspire, but force yourself. Because dreams don't respond to feelings, they respond to force. And if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to become unstoppable. Every breakthrough you've ever wanted, every goal you've ever set, but haven't reached is waiting behind a wall called comfort. And here's the truth. No one breaks that wall down gently. You have to force yourself through it. Because discipline isn't natural, sacrifice isn't fun, and progress never asks you if you feel like it. This isn't a talk about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about decisions, about choosing to dominate your day even when you don't feel like it. The reason you must force yourself is simple. The version of you that achieves your dreams doesn't wait for perfect conditions. That version of you is already on the other side of resistance. If you want to own your time, own your income, and own your life, then forcing yourself isn't just necessary, it's the only way forward. Stay locked in, because by the end of this message, you'll know exactly how to stop negotiating with weakness and start commanding your future. Emotions are deceptive. They don't measure truth, they measure comfort. One day you wake up excited and fired up, ready to conquer the world. The next, you wake up in the same bed with the same goals, and suddenly you're drained, discouraged, or even doubtful. What changed? Not your vision, not your capabilities, just your emotions. That's why emotion cannot be trusted as your guide. It's a terrible leader. It reacts to temperature, it doesn't set it. Emotions don't care about your future. They care about comfort, about keeping you safe, avoiding risk, and delaying pain. So if you follow emotion, you'll delay your destiny every single time. Now compare that to force. Force doesn't care how you feel. Force isn't about permission, it's about discipline. It's about doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. Think about this. A soldier doesn't ask how he feels before entering battle. A surgeon doesn't check his mood before a life-saving operation. Why? Because the mission matters more than the moment. Likewise, when you're chasing something that matters, a business, a calling, a breakthrough, you can't afford to negotiate with your mood. You have to force yourself into action, not because it feels good, but because it's required. Here's an example. Imagine someone training for a marathon. The first week, they're excited. Their shoes are new, their playlist is pumping, and motivation is high. But by week 3, it's raining, their legs hurt, and nobody's cheering anymore. Emotion says, skip today, rest up, you've earned it. But force says, run anyway. You said you would. That person who listens to emotion skips a day, then 2, then the dream dissolves. But the one who obeys force, they run in the rain, they run tired, they run with blisters. And in doing so, they become someone new, someone who doesn't break promises to themselves. That's the power of force. It's not just about results, it's about identity. Emotion changes with the weather. Force sets the climate. Clarity is where the vision begins. It's the light that lets you see the destination, the picture of the life you want, the business you're building, the health you're reclaiming, or the freedom you're fighting for. Without clarity, you drift. You say yes to things that don't matter and chase opportunities that don't belong to you. Clarity gives you direction. It's like having coordinates on a map. But here's the trap. Too many people think clarity is enough. They get excited by the vision. They write down the goals. They even tell their friends what they're going to do. But clarity without commitment is just imagination. It gives you the what, but it doesn't build the how. That's why commitment is the muscle. It's the force that moves clarity forward. You don't need more journals. You need more gym reps. Commitment is what shows up when clarity fades and resistance starts talking. Think about it like this. Say someone wants to lose 30 pounds. They've got the clarity. They know the number, the reason, the plan. They even envision themselves in that healthy, confident body. That's powerful. It gives them the why. But that vision won't carry them through 5M workouts or choosing broccoli over burgers. That's where commitment kicks in. Commitment is getting up early when the bed feels like heaven. It's pushing through the workout when your legs are shaking and your mind is screaming to quit. It's meal prepping on Sunday night while everyone else is Netflixing. Commitment is a muscle that has to be trained. You don't get it from inspiration, you get it from repetition. And just like in the gym, the more you work it, the stronger it gets. Let's take another example. An entrepreneur with a vision to build a 7-figure business. They've got the clarity, they know their product, their market, their strategy. They've mapped out the funnel, the marketing, the branding. All of that is valuable. But clarity isn't going to make them pick up the phone and call 50 leads a day. Clarity won't make them work through the night when the software crashes the night before launch. That takes commitment. That takes muscle. And that muscle doesn't grow until you force yourself to take action again and again, when it's not easy, not exciting, and definitely not fun. Clarity paints the picture. Commitment builds the frame. Habits are the invisible employees working for or against your goals every single day. They show up whether you supervise them or not. Some are loyal. They get to work on time, produce results, and move you forward without complaint. Others are lazy, distracted, even destructive, but you keep them on payroll out of comfort. The scary part, you've trained every single one of them, whether by intention or by neglect. That means if your habits are creating inconsistency, procrastination, or stagnation, it's because you've allowed them to. You've tolerated behavior from yourself that you would never accept from someone on your team. Habits don't ask questions. They execute commands that you've taught them through repetition. So when you look at your results or lack of them, understand they're the direct outcome of the team you've built in your daily routines. So imagine waking up every morning and hitting snooze 3 times. That's a habit. It might seem small, but it trains your mind to delay decisions. It tells your brain, we don't do hard things first. That habit shows up later when you delay launching your business, postpone hard conversations, or keep putting off your fitness goals. Now imagine the opposite. Someone who wakes up with a plan, journals for 5 minutes, reads 10 pages, then hits the gym. They don't think about it, they just execute. That's a trained habit. They've built muscle memory around discipline, focus, and follow through. And the results? They compound because their internal team is high performing. Their habits are sharp, accountable, and aligned with the future they're building. The difference between those two people isn't talent or intelligence. It's management. One is a sloppy CEO of their own life, keeping unproductive habits around because they're familiar. The other, ruthless with their standards, willing to fire any behavior that doesn't serve the vision. Think about an aspiring author who wants to write a book. If they only write when inspiration hits, they'll never finish. That's like hiring a part-time intern to build a skyscraper. It's not happening. But if they create a writing habit, 1,000 words a day at 6 a.m., no exceptions, eventually the habit does the heavy lifting. The resistance fades, the mind gets conditioned, and before long, the book writes itself through sheer consistency. The habit becomes a loyal worker, showing up rain or shine, moving the vision forward whether the writer feels ready or not. And that's the key. Your habits must become so dependable that you don't have to think about execution. If they don't produce, they don't stay. Just like a business would never keep dead weight on staff, you can't afford to keep unproductive habits on your roster. Pain is a visitor. It comes into your life loud, uncomfortable, demanding your attention, but if you endure it, if you outlast it, it eventually leaves. It's the price of growth, the sting of sacrifice, the discomfort of choosing discipline over ease. Pain is the alarm clock that wakes you up to what's possible, and while it may be sharp, it is always short-lived in comparison to what you gain on the other side of it. Regret, on the other hand, is patient. It doesn't scream like pain, it whispers constantly. It doesn't show up fast, it shows up late, after the opportunity is gone, after the moment has passed, and once it settles in, it stays. Regret doesn't demand your strength for a few hours. It rents space in your mind, your soul, your future. It becomes a recurring payment that robs you of peace and pride year after year. Picture this. Someone has the opportunity to start their dream business. They've got the skills, the idea, and even a small window of time and resources to make it happen. But fear sets in. What if they fail? What if it's painful? What if they lose money, or worse, look foolish in front of friends and family? That's the kind of pain that shows up early. It's temporary, the pain of starting, of being uncertain, of facing resistance. But instead of walking through it, they delay. They procrastinate. They tell themselves, maybe next year. And 1 year turns into 10. They look back a decade later and the pain is gone, but something heavier has taken its place. Regret. Regret for not trying. Regret for not believing. Regret for not betting on themselves when the window was open. And now that regret becomes part of their story. It becomes a weight they carry every time they think about what could have been. Or take a high school athlete with potential. They hate the workouts, the 5M practices, the sore muscles, the dietary discipline. It's uncomfortable, no doubt, but that pain is shaping them. Every drop of sweat is an investment in the future. But if they skip practice, if they coast, if they choose the comfort of sleep over the pain of hustle, they may feel good in the moment, but fast forward 5 years when they're sitting in the stands watching someone else live out the dream they were capable of, that sting hits different. That's the pain that doesn't go away. It doesn't build you, it breaks you from the inside out. Because regret comes with shame, with guilt, with the endless loop of what if. It becomes a debt you never fully pay off, a lease that drains your confidence and creativity over time. Pain asks for your effort. Regret demands your identity. Excuses are some of the most convincing lies you'll ever hear because they wear the mask of reason. They don't come at you like laziness or fear. No, they show up dressed as logic, sounding intelligent, even responsible. They'll say things like, now's not the right time, or I need more information, or I'm just being realistic. Let's strip away the language, and what you're really saying is, I'm scared, I'm uncertain, or I'm not willing to be uncomfortable. Excuses let you stay where it's safe while pretending you're still making progress. That's what makes them so dangerous. They allow you to protect your ego while sabotaging your growth. And because they sound so rational, you don't challenge them. You accept them. You repeat them. Eventually, you believe them. They become part of your identity, part of your narrative. And before you know it, you're defending limitations you were never meant to live with. Take the example of someone who wants to launch their online course. They've got knowledge people need. They've had the idea for months, maybe even years. But instead of recording the content, they start saying things like, I need better equipment, or I want to make sure it's perfect before I start, or let me take one more course on marketing first. That sounds smart. It sounds like preparation. But in reality, it's procrastination wrapped in logic. It's the elegant lie that says you're being professional, when really you're just avoiding the discomfort of starting messy. The truth is, every expert started unpolished. Every great brand began with something rough, raw, and real. But the excuse creates a delay that feels justified, so you don't move. You tell yourself you're planning, but you're really postponing. Or think about someone who wants to get in shape. They keep saying, I'll start when things calm down, or I want to wait until I find the perfect gym, or I need to research the best diet first. All of that sounds responsible. It sounds wise. But what's really happening is the mind is creating exit routes from action. Because action is uncomfortable. It means showing up sore, feeling awkward, lifting light weights while others watch. It means risking failure in the beginning. So instead, the excuse steps in and says, let's wait until we're more ready, even though readiness only comes through movement. That person doesn't need more logic, they need truth. Because excuses don't come to protect you, they come to pacify you. They talk you out of your future while pretending to have your best interest in mind. They are the most polished form of self-sabotage, and the longer you entertain them, the more familiar they become. Wishing is easy. It costs nothing, demands nothing, and offers the illusion of movement while you remain exactly where you are. People wish for better health, more money, deeper relationships, and greater success, but the future is deaf to wishes. It doesn't move because you hope it will. It doesn't shift because you dream hard enough. The future responds to work, to sweat, to action repeated consistently over time. And that's why so many people stay stuck. They confuse desire with discipline. They think that feeling something deeply is enough to make it real. But the universe isn't taking emotional orders. It's responding to labor, to habits, to the unseen grind. Wishing feels good in the moment. Working feels good in the result. One feeds fantasy. The other creates transformation. The gap between what you want and what you have isn't filled with more vision boards. It's filled with hours of deliberate effort that few are willing to give. Consider someone who wants to become financially free. They watch videos, they follow motivational accounts, they talk about it often. They wish for the day when they don't have to check their bank balance before making a purchase. But wishing doesn't build wealth. What builds wealth is doing the boring work, learning how to budget, reading books on money, developing high-income skills, building an offer, selling that offer, getting rejected, and showing up again. It means working a job during the day and a dream at night. It means trading entertainment for education and comfort for creation. The people who move their future forward are not the ones who simply want it most. They're the ones who execute when no one's watching. They don't need the perfect moment. They don't wait for stars to align. They put their heads down and do what others won't. Or take someone who dreams of becoming a published author. They talk about it for years. They imagine their book cover, visualize book signings, even tell friends it's in progress. But wishing for a book won't put words on the page. Work will. It means sitting at the desk when you're uninspired. It means writing even when you hate what you're writing. It means choosing discipline over dopamine, trading temporary satisfaction for the grind of creative expression. Wishing doesn't meet deadlines. Work does. And that's the distinction. The future isn't moved by emotion, it's moved by execution. Your goals don't care how badly you want them. They only respond to what you're willing to do daily, especially when it's inconvenient. The truth is simple, but it isn't easy. Your dreams aren't waiting for a perfect moment, they're waiting for you. Not the version of you that gets hyped up by inspiration, but the one who gets up early, stays late, and takes action no matter how it feels. Motivation might get you started, but only force will keep you moving. You're not going to feel like it most days. That's normal. That's human. But the version of you that wins, that version is forged in discomfort, pressure, and consistency. You already know what needs to be done. You already know what's at stake. The question now is, will you lead your life or let your feelings lead it for you? Because success is not promised to the wishful. It is promised to the willing. Willing to force focus, willing to force discipline, willing to do the uncomfortable things that average people avoid their entire lives. Your future is watching. It's not looking for potential. It's waiting for proof, and the only proof it believes is work.